Hello, welcome everyone. We greet you specially. My name is Favor Francis, and welcome to Idealnovate Data Analysis Bootcamp. Today, we are going to be talking about formatting data in Microsoft Excel. So, there are some wonderful things you're going to be learning as a data analyst on how to format your data professionally for what? For analyzing. Is that okay? So as a data analyst, it's important you know how to format. When we use the word formatting, we're talking about how to organize your data, how to create a data that is easy to be what to be analyzed, how to arrange your data, how to sort your data, how to filter your data effectively. So right here, I'm already in my Excel. I'm using the Microsoft Excel, right? The Microsoft Excel desktop, right? So each and every one, I want you guys to log into your Microsoft Excel. Come on, can you do that for me now? Okay, I need you to get into your Microsoft Excel right now. Okay, I've launched mine, and the moment you launch yours, you will get to this wonderful screen. This is your Excel interface screen. Is that okay? So this is your Excel interface screen we have in front of us here. Is that okay? So now we are going to be creating a new workbook. What did I say? A new workbook. If you're using Excel for the first time, you might likely not see all this information that say recent are we together. You might likely not see this information, right? It's because of I've used Excel to perform spreadsheet some spreadsheet calculations and all that. That is why you're seeing this over here. So in order to get started, remember at Idealnovate we work with ABC. Is that okay? So the step A is to select your blank workbook. What do I say? Select your blank workbook. Again and again, select your blank workbook. So we're going to select this blank workbook. I'm going to click on it once, and our Excel workbook is going to be open for us. Is that okay? Come on, I need you to do yours. Step A, select your blank workbook. Come on, work with me. Step A, select your blank workbook and click on your blank workbook. Okay, in our previous section, in our previous video, we're able to talk about the component of this Excel dashboard, workbook dashboard. So let's talk about it again. We talked about it on the Microsoft Excel online version. So right now we're on the desktop, so let's look at the component. So the top here is what we call our title bar, the place you see book one. That's where you're going to see the title of your workbook, right? So when you rename your workbook, you're going to see the title over here, right? So the next bar is what we call your menu bar. Come on, somebody say menu bar. I need you to write this down. Very key, very important, so that you can get familiar with these things. Is that okay? Now each menu have what we call tools, right? Each menu has tools. So if I click on each of this menu, just like what I'm doing now, come on, watch my mouse cursor. As I'm clicking each of this menu, you can see the tools they carry, right? Some other people call it the ribbons. Is that okay? So this area you see, this very big space here, is what we call the tool bar. Is that okay? The tool bar or the tools bar, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, when we go down a little, you see this long bar here. We call it the formula bar. Now, there's something very great about Excel. The moment you hover on any area, it populates a toothpick for you. That's information about that area, right? So you look at it, it's telling us this is the formula bar, and just beside the formula bar, we have the name box. Now, what does the name box? What does it do? The name box helps us to identify the individual cells. What do I say? The name box helps us to identify the individual cells. Very key, very important. Is that okay? Now, this big space we have here, these are what we call the cells, right? These are where your data they come in. These are where you put your data in each cell, right? You can put it in each individual cell right here. Then at the bottom here is where we have your horizontal scroll bar, you can see it at the bottom right hand corner. You can see your horizontal scroll bar where my mouse cursor is moving, and at the right hand side you can see your vertical scroll bar. Is that okay? And still at the bottom you can see that on Excel a particular workbook can have multiple sheets, just like how we have in Microsoft Word where we have pages. Is that okay? Excel can have multiple sheets as well. Are we on the same page? I love you guys. I know you're catching. Okay, so you're going to see this plus icon right here, right? You can add as many sheets as possible. Just as I clicked on the plus icon, you can see a new sheet came in titled sheet 2, sheet 2, again, sheet 2, again, sheet 2. I can add another one and you see sheet 3. Are you seeing it? I can add another one, you see sheet 4. Are you seeing it? I can add another one, you see sheet 5. So if I want to delete them because I don't need all the sheet, I can right click on any of the sheet and you see delete. Come on, walk with me. Delete. Are you seeing it? Right click on them, delete. Right click on the sheet, take my mouse cursor, go make sure my mouse cursor is hovering on the name sheet 2, and right click, and then I will see the option delete, right? So we are on sheet 1. We just have sheet 1 right here. Okay, now let's get into formatting, editing data in Excel, right? So I'm going to add some data here, so I can add any data on this cell. First of all, before I start adding data into the cell, let me explain how the cells are identified. Now, these cells are structured in columns and rows, or rows and columns. What is a column? This vertical alphabet numbering. You see B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L down to Z, right? So you see it right here. Then the rows are the numbering. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Is that okay? So how you identify a cell is the point where the column and the row meet. So if I click on this part, you see that the column we are on is on column E, and the row we are on is on row 6. So the meeting point between the column E and the row E is what we call E6. Are you seeing it? E6, E6, E6. So this is, you see the name here on the name box. So that is how you identify each of this cell. Is that okay? That is how you're gonna identify each of this cell. Is that okay? So I'm gonna add the data inside here. So I just call it this I just call it item. I'll just call this item and I'll call this price. Is that okay? So I call this item. So let's add some items here. I'll call this bag. I'll call this bag. I'll call this shoes, right? Shoes. I'll call this clothes, right? I'll call this phones, right? So these are some items, these are some sales items, and the prices. Let me increase my cell so that you can see it properly. To do that, you can come here, your zoom. Are you seeing your zoom right here? So you can decide to increase the cell, right? You can increase the cell right here. So in order for me to do that, I can zoom in, right? So I can just highlight this area. Are we together? I can highlight this area, this cell, and then I zoom in very well. Are you seeing it? I highlighted the cell and zoom in so that you guys can see it properly. Is that okay? Great. So now I have this item price. The first thing I'm going to do is to edit. So if you want to edit the entire content or data in a cell, just click on it once, and that's, you want to edit the entire content. So if I click on it once and I type, for instance, I type pen, are you seeing that everything wipes off and it starts imputing the new data I want to impute? But if you don't want to edit the entire data, let's say you click on an empty cell and you don't want to edit the entire data, don't just click once, you need to double click on it in order for you to be able to use your directions, right, to delete whichever later or whichever content you want to delete. I hope you got that right. So I'm going to recap that again. If you want to delete an entire content, or you want to re-edit an entire content, just click on the cell once, and the moment you start typing, the previous content is going to wipe off and the new content will start typing in. But if you don't want to edit the entire content, what you can do is to what, double click on it in order for you to be able to edit a letter or an alphabet, right, or a number that is part of that data. Just like if I want to delete the letter E, let's say I don't want to edit the entire content pen, I just want to delete the letter E, I will double click on it to see my blinking cursor, and then when I use my arrow keys, I can choose which letter I want to delete. So I can delete the E. Are you seeing it now? Are you seeing it? Okay, thank you guys. So I can delete the letter E right here, and then I have it. So let me put back my shoes, let me put my bags, right? So if you make a mistake and you want to undo, you can use Ctrl Z, Command Z on a Mac, Ctrl Z on a PC, right? So you see I can use Ctrl Z in order to undo, right? Another way you can do it, if you go to the top right hand corner of your screen, you're going to see some icons. The arrow icons that goes to the left is undo, and the arrow icons that goes to the right is redo, right? The opposite of undo. Let's say you went back in time and you want to come forward again, you just use redo. Is that okay? Redo. Is that okay? Great. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is how to edit using font, editing your data using font. So let's add some figures to the price. Let's say this is 20,000. Are we together? Let's say this is 20,000. Let's say this is 5,000. Let's say this is 4,000. Let's say this is 17 or 35,000. Okay, so we have some data inside here at the moment. So what we are going to do now is, come on, I need you guys to work with me now. I need you to work with me. What we're going to do now is to highlight the entire, the entire data. How do you highlight? You hold your left click starting from the point you want to highlight or you want to select, right? So you can use the word highlight, you can use the word select, right? So you to select the entire data. So I want to start from item. I'm going to start the selection from item. So my cursor will be clicked on the cell item, then I hold my left click and I drag to highlight the entire data. So now the entire data is highlighted. I can edit, I can change the font, I can edit in terms of font. So some of the things you can do while editing font is to change the font style or the text style. So we can change the original style to the original style. The default style on my PC is a Calibri, is the Calibri style. So we can change it to Arial, right? So you see Arial. We can change the color of the text. So if you come to this area here, look at where my cursor is shaking. You see this A icon. If you select this A icon, you see you can change the color of the text, right? So if you want to add a border, you see this box, this white box right here, this white box icon. If you click on the drop down, you can decide to add a border, different types of border. You can only add a border to the left, to the top, to the right, to the center, anywhere you want to add a border, or you can add a border everywhere. So if I say all borders, it means that a border will be added everywhere. Is that okay? Great. Okay, so let me change back the color to black. I want the black color, right? So that is some little things about font. If you want to make it bold, just like you do in Microsoft Excel, you want to make italics, right? You want to make your item, your data to be underlined. You can as well do this right here. Is that okay? So I'm gonna disable all these. I don't want them to be bold, italics, and underlined. So you see the BIU is to make something bold, make something to be italicized, and make something what to be underlined. Is that okay? Great. If you want to change the size of the text, you see this numbering here, just very close to where you change the text style. You see the numbering. If I click here, you can type inside of it. You can click the drop down to select from the options, the numbering option. So you see, I selected 24. You see how big it is. Now, if you look, when we selected 24, you find out that the text is bigger than the cells. So to expand the cells is very easy. You take your mouse cursor to the demarcation between the two columns, right? So you see the column D and you see the column E. So if I put my mouse cursor at the demarcation, I can drag it and create more spaces on this cell. Is that okay? Are you seeing what I did just now? Great. Okay, wow, wonderful. I believe you guys are catching this. I love you guys. Okay, so let me reduce the font size again to 14, back to 14. Another thing again you can do in terms of editing your data is alignment. Now you can see that this data is not having the same alignment. All the items are having the same alignment to left, but the price is not having the same alignment. You can see that the price text, the heading called price, is left aligned, whereas the prices are right aligned. What is alignment? Is how you organize your what your data, right? In terms of position, how you position your data. Are you trying to position it at the left, at the center, or at the right? Right. So if you come to this alignment ribbon here, you're going to see the different alignment. You're going to see left align. You see now I selected left align. All my data has moved to the left. You see the center align, you see the right align, and you can see you can just move around and see the wonderful things you can do with alignment. So I'm going to leave all the data to be left aligned. Is that okay? Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay, right? If you want to add a background color to this, you can go to the font again. Just beside the A icon that shows the font color, you see another color called the highlight color. It has an icon as a paint bucket, right? As a paint bucket. What do I say? Look at where my mouse cursor is dangling. Come on, walk with me. Now if I click on that drop down, I can choose a background color. Is that okay? You see that I've given this a background color, an orange color. I can change it to a yellow color. Are you seeing what I'm doing here? So just by highlighting your data, you can do a lot of edits to this data as much as you can. Is that okay? Come on, sip your glass of juice as you're listening to me now. Let's go. Okay, I want to believe you've taken a sip, just a sip or two sips. I want to believe you've done that. Is that okay? Now, the next thing we are going to be doing, we're going to be bringing in a data set so that we can format that data set to get it ready for analysis. Is that okay? So that we can do that and get this data set ready for analysis. So let's work together. So in order to bring in a new data set, we're going to be bringing in that data set in a new sheet. Is that okay? We're going to be bringing it in a new sheet. I want to show you guys how to create a new sheet. I've done that before, but let me do that again. So you see this plus icon at the bottom, you click on this plus icon and you have a new sheet. You can as well title your sheet instead of you leaving it with the default name that Microsoft Excel gives you, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Just either you double click on it, are we together, to edit, or you just right click on the name of the sheet and you will see the option that says rename. So let me rename this to data set, right? So data set. So we are going to be importing or opening our data set in this new sheet. So let's do this together. So in order to import the data set, we're going to go with ABCD formula so that everybody gets the step. So let's go. Step A, you go to file. Are you seeing it? You go to the file menu, you click on the file menu. That is step A. Step B, once you get to the file menu where you're going to get to this wonderful interface, you see this option that says open. Are you seeing it? Open. You click on open right here and it's going to take you to this wonderful screen that is going to lead us to step C. Is that okay? So when you get to this step C, you see browse, right? So you select browse. It's going to take you to your PC Explorer. Come on, walk with me. It's going to open up your PC Explorer. It's going to open up your PC Explorer where let me show you, the full screen, take you to the full screen so that you see the PC Explorer. Now let's go together. Come on, walk with me. So it's going to open up your PC Explorer where you can identify where you downloaded the data set. So the data set will be sent to all the community platform and also on YouTube as well. So all the community platform, whether you're on the WhatsApp community, Telegram community, you should find the data set there, right? So I'll open the data set and select the data set we are using or we're gonna be using for this training. Is that okay? So I'm gonna choose the data set we are gonna be using for this training at the moment. I'm gonna choose that data set right now. So I'm doing that at the moment. Okay. Okay. So I'm choosing my data set, my data set, my data set, my data set. I'm choosing my data set, my data set, my data set. Okay, let me get my data set. Okay, yeah, now I have my data set. Now I have my data set. So let me select that data set. Okay, so I select the data set, I click open, and the moment you open, you should have your data set right here, right? But this data set is kind of edited already. So let me get another one. Let me get another data set, right? This is not the one I want actually. So let me get the data set that has not been edited, right? So let me get the data set. Good, 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 good. Okay, so this is the data set that has not been edited. This is the data set that has not been edited. So this is the data set. So once you will see your data set like this, guys, you will see your data set like this, right? I think we did this, we edited this in the first class. Is that okay? So we edited this in the first class, are we together, when we're working with our online Excel. When we're working with our online Excel, we edited it in the first class, right? Okay, I don't want this data set to have a filter yet, so let me change up this data set to another data set. So let me have another data set. Okay, let me bring the raw data set that doesn't have the filter on yet. So let me bring in that data set. So I want to get that data set that doesn't have the filter on at the moment. So come on, guys, work with me. Work with me, work with me, work with me. Okay. So I'm going to bring in that data set. I'm going to bring in that data set now. Okay. So let me do that real quick, real quick. So I'm going to bring in that data set now. File, open, browse, downloads. Download. So just select all Excel files, or let me select all files. Okay. Okay, great. So this is the data set I need. So this data set has been sent to you guys as well so that everybody can get this. Now we have this amazing data set in front of us. Is that okay? Now we have this amazing data set in front of us. So we have this amazing data set. So let me show you the data set I have now. Let me show you the data set I have now. So we have this amazing data set in front of us now. So let me show you the data set. Okay. So we have this amazing data set in front of us. Can you see the data set now? Are you seeing it? I think it's visible to you now, right? So now we have imported our data set. So what we are going to do, we are going to be getting this data set ready for what? For analysis. So the first thing we are going to do is to make sure we differentiate the heading from the what, the data content. So these are the heading. So I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to highlight the entire data, or you can just do short key, you can just do Control A, or you click at the top left hand corner here, right? So if you click at the top left hand corner over here, are you seeing it? You click here and then you just expand the data so that you can have this nice expansion here. What did I do? Let me do it again. You click at the top corner, that's the space between the columns and the rows, the columns and the rows. So you see this top space here, you select it and then you expand. Is that okay? So when you expand, you have a nice spacing of your columns right here. So the next thing is to increase the size of the heading. So I'm going to highlight the entire heading, holding my left click. Walk with me, holding my left click, and then I'm going to increase the size to, I'm going to increase the font size to 14, and then I'm going to make it bold. So you want to do yours the same. You want to do yours the same. If possible, if you want to change the text for you to see them properly, you can as well do that. Is that okay? You can as well what, do that. Is that okay? Alignment, I want to make sure everything is aligned left as well. Now we have done this, I want to change the color of the what, of the background of the header. So I'm going to go to the font option here. Come on, look at where my mouse cursor is dangling, and then I'll select the color, the fill color bucket option, and then I'll give it a background color of yellow, right? So the yellow color, very nice, I like it. I'll give it a yellow background color. Is that okay? I'll give it a yellow background color. So now I've given it a yellow background color. The next thing, I'll apply the filter function on this so that it will be easy for us to filter and to sort this data. So how do I do that? I will go to the top right hand corner where you see sort and filter. Come on, look at where my mouse cursor is dangling, guys. Come on, walk with me. Where you see sort and filter, are we together? Remember, we're still at home. You select the drop down there and you see filter. You select filter to add a filter drop down to all the data columns. Are you seeing it? There will be something like a funnel, like a drop down funnel that will now be identified with all the columns. Can you see it? So now, after we have done this, the next thing we are going to do is to what, is to filter this data to be well arranged. Is that okay? So we can filter it either from gender, or we can filter it from ethnicity, or we can filter it from any of the column. But one thing you need to understand is that because of you have applied the filter function on this data, anything you filter, any column you filter affects the total column. So if I'm filtering from gender, it works with, it filters the entire column. So let me show you. Let's say I want to filter this from race, ethnicity. So if I click on this drop down, I can sort. You see the filter, you see sort. So I can sort from A to Z. So if I click on sort from A to Z, you see all A's came up first before B's, before C's. Are you seeing it? Before B's, before C's. So I'm sorting this data from A to what, to B, from the group A to B, so that the groups can be organized A, B, C, D, like that. So I've been able to sort this data. Is that okay? Great, great. I've been able to sort this data. Is that okay? So another thing again we are going to do is, if we want to get the total of this data, is that okay, the total of this data, but before we get the total of this data, we want to delete a particular column we don't need for this training. So we want to show you how to delete a column. So if you don't want a particular column of data, right, just like you're cleaning the data, you don't need this particular column of data, you can select the column. Like I can select the column title, which is J. Are you seeing it? Just click on it, it selects everything in there, and press delete on your keyboard. Press delete key and everything is going to leave. Are you seeing it? Come on, walk with me. Now we have deleted every data in that column. We are going to rename that column. We'll call it total. So this is the total. Are we together? So that is the total now. So we want to calculate the total of this to give us a result here. Come on, walk with me, guys. Walk with me. So we are trying to calculate this data so that it can be ready for what? For analysis. So we'll call this total. We'll call this total. Are we together? We'll call this what? Total. We'll call this total. We'll call this total. So this is the total of the combination of this column, this column, this column, this column. That's the sum. So we want to get the total sum here. So how do you do that? You use the formula. You use the analytical formula. We call equal to, come on, walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. Equal to sum. Are you seeing it? Sum in bracket. You open bracket, then where to where, what range to what range do you want to sum? So I'm going to select, I'm going to highlight from the range down to this, right, down to this range. Then I close my bracket. I just highlighted it from this range, from D down to I. So you see it here to tell you from D2 into I2. So if I close my bracket now and press enter, you see that I have my result. I have my result 296. 296. Now, the moment you have gotten one of this sum, you don't need to stress yourself for the rest. Are we together? The moment you have gotten one of this sum, you don't need to start doing them individually. That is the power of Excel. So when you, let me zoom in. So when you go to this particular cell that you have calculated, you see a little dot at the extreme, at the bottom extreme right of that cell. So you take your cursor there to that dot and then you drag. The moment you drag down, you can keep dragging it until you get to the bottom. And once you get to the bottom of the cell, automatically it gives you the result. It sums the result. We call this cell referencing. Are we together? So what you're doing is cell referencing. You're doing related cell referencing. Now, what this means is that you're referencing cells. That means you're telling Excel that the same calculation that was used for this cell, it should reference it, it should copy it, it should model it, and what, and apply to these other cells. Is that okay? So Excel will understand that and do the same calculation for the other cells instead of you doing it one by one. So that is one way of doing it. So that is the long method of doing it. So let's follow the short method. So if you want to do this in the short, using the short format, it's very easy. Let's delete it. Let's delete the calculation. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to highlight the entire cell. So how do we highlight it? You can use a short key, control shift down. You can use that. You can use that short key, control shift down. Are we together? Control shift down, or you just highlight them and scroll down. Is that okay? And scroll down, right? You scroll down to select the entire cell. So anyone is okay. You can start from the first cell and scroll down and select the entire cell. Is that okay? So now you have selected the entire cell. You just type equal to, you start from the first cell, equal to sum. Are we together? All in bracket. Are we together? All in bracket. You equal to sum. Are we together? You select the area. First of all, you must highlight the entire cell. You select the area and you close your bracket. Now, before you press enter, you don't just press enter. You hold your control key and press what? Enter. The moment you hold your control key and press enter, automatically the entire cells are giving, they are giving you the what, the submission of these total cells, right? We call this cell referencing. So you can use any of the method. You can use the method one, which you do it manually, and then you select the dot icon at the extreme right of the cell you have calculated and drag it down, or you use this formula. Is that okay? Let me do it again. Step one, select the entire cell you want to get to the total. I'm selecting them now. Are we together? Select the entire cell down, right? So now I've selected the entire cell. Let me select it again. Select the entire cell. Let's go. Come on, guys. I'll start from the beginning. Select the entire cell. I'm holding my left click while dragging down. Come on, hold your left click very well. Don't leave it. And then once you get to the point where you are done with the selection, you release your left click. Now I've done that. I will now go back to the beginning, scroll using my scroll bar. I will go back to the beginning, and then from the first cell, I will write equal to sum. right? Open brackets, I'll select the from launch down to what, down to total score, and then I will close the bracket. Then instead of me to just use enter, I will use control, holding my control key, and I tap enter. The moment you do this, you will see your entire results, right? So this is one way you use in formatting your data. If you want to do other formatting, adding other colors, borders, you can go ahead and do it. In the next training, which is going to be a live training, we're going to be showing you how to use this particular data, how to transform this data into pivot, and how to create dashboard out of this data, how to analyze the data individually, and also how to create dashboard from this data using pivot. Come on, I believe you enjoyed the section today. My name is Remain Favor Francis, and get ready for the next section. See you.